how to find the missing side length using the sine law. So what is the sine law equation? Well, it's going to look like this. A over sine A equals to B over sine B. And that also equals to C over sine C. And sometimes you're going to see this upside down, but we're going to stick to the little lowercase letters for this example. So none of this is going to make sense until I label my sides and angles. In this example, the angles are already labeled as A, B, and C. And now I'm going to label my side lengths. So what we do for a non-right angle triangle is if this is angle A, we will label this as side length A, and we label it as with a lowercase a. This is angle B, right across from it would be lowercase b. And if this is angle C, right across from it, that would be lowercase c. And now that we have this, we can actually start our sine law. Before I get started, I'm gonna give you a little trick. How do I know I can use sine law and not something else? Well, first of all, if you have a right angle triangle, you could just use your regular SOHCAHTOA or sine law, really. And what you need in sine law is an angle and a side length across from each other such that it fits into the equation, and then some other piece of information, either a side length or an angle. Okay, so now let's just go ahead and plug everything in. Okay, so I'm looking for little a, so I'm just gonna, side length a, so I'm just gonna rewrite that as a over sine 30. And that's equal to, I don't really care about my b, so I'm not even going to use that in this case because I don't have a side length b and I don't have an angle b, but I do have angle c and I have side length c. So that's equal to, side length c is equal to 25 over sine of 40 degrees. Okay, so now my equation is set up as a ratio. All I have to do is just do a little bit of math to isolate the a and get my answer. Okay, so how do I isolate the a? So in this example, I am dividing a by sine 30, and that's equal to this ratio. Sine of 30 is actually just a number, okay? I know it has letters in it, but it's actually just a number. So what I'm going to do in order to isolate it is I'm going to multiply, since this is in the denominator, I'm going to multiply both sides by sine of 30 degrees. So sine 30 and then times sine 30. Okay? And this is going to allow for these two to cancel out and leave my a, my side length a, isolated. Okay, so now I will rewrite it like this. So side length a is equal to 25 times sine of 30 degrees, all of that divided by sine of 40 degrees. Okay, and now I'm not a magician. We need to put this into our calculator. So 25 times sine of 30 degrees, and then divide that by sine of 40 degrees. And if you're using a Google calculator like I am, make sure your calculator is set to degrees and not to radians. Okay, now we just hit equal and we get our answer. So A equals 19.4. Okay, and if my question has units in it, my answer better have units in it as well. So A equals to 19.4 meters. And that's all. That's how it's done. If you want to see an example without a corresponding angle, click here. And if you want to use sine law to find an angle, click here. See you next time.